Hello. Hello. Hey there. My name is Josh Hiben. I'm glad to be here. Anna is a Puerto Rican freshman who loves One Direction, and she lives in a rougher part of Chicago's west side. In all aspects of the word, she's at risk, whether it be financially, socioeconomically, or with her family. She has a father in prison and uncles and in gangs, and it is only because of her grandfather, who works 3 jobs to keep the family afloat, that she's connected to a Covenant church in Chicago. Abe. Abe is a Polish-American high school senior who is also a diehard Chicago Bears fan. Abe lives on the northwest side of Chicago and grew up in a non-practicing Catholic family. Abe became connected to drugs in middle school from his older sister's friends, and all throughout high school, doing and dealing drugs was his reality. And it's only because of his 6th grade social studies teacher who encouraged him to attend a Covenant camp that he's connected to a Covenant church in Chicago. Emma loves pop punk music. Emma was born and has grown up in an intentional Christian community in the northeastern neighborhood of Chicago known as Uptown. She lives in a small little world of her own, and she shares a house, goes to school, and walks life with 300 other Christians who decided to share their resources in order to live well together. Rachel loves other people super well. Rachel grew up in the wealthy, sophisticated North Shore of Chicago, where competition, pressure, and status reign supreme. Rachel was born, baptized, and grew up in a Covenant church. She's known as a Covey kid, meaning all of her family's been involved within the Covenant church for generations. And lastly, Caleb. Caleb is a parkour enthusiast. He's also a homeschooled introvert and that lives in the North Park neighborhood of Chicago. He attends a church with a group of 30 students ranging from 7th to 12th grade, and he desires to know God deeply, but struggles to find other students who desire the same thing. These 5 students, who I've given different names to protect their identities, all are affiliated with a separate Covenant church in Chicago, and with the exception of one of them, none of them have a full-time youth pastor. No, the majority of them have either no youth pastor or at best a part-time youth pastor. Because the reality of the context in Chicago where I work and live is that there are 22 Covenant churches in Chicago and on the north side, on the near north suburbs, but there's only 2 full-time paid youth pastors. There's only 2. You see, I have a sneaking suspicion that the reality of full-time paid youth pastors are becoming more and more rare, especially in urban areas, and I believe that to be a problem. It is a problem that is in need of a solution, because I don't see this problem going away anytime soon, if not getting worse over the next 10 years. And I'm here to inspire a possible solution. That solution is collaborative youth ministry. Collaborative youth ministry is bringing together youth groups from various churches to collaborate and ministry together. This is exactly what the Covenant churches of Chicago are trying to make a reasonable run at. And our collaborative youth ministry model is called Covenant Youth Collision. Because in Chicago, we all have students in our churches who need to be loved well and built up well. But close to all of our churches don't have the budget, don't have the man-hours to build up all of our students as best as we could. We just don't. So this collaborative youth ministry model says that we are stronger and better together than we are apart. Collaborative youth ministry says that we can develop stronger student leaders, we can develop deeper disciples from across various economic and racial backgrounds, and we can serve our communities more effectively in the name of Christ when we join together the resources, the leaders, and our students of multiple churches. That's the truth. And what does collaborative youth ministry, that model known as Covenant Youth Collision in Chicago, look like? Well, for us, it looks a little bit of big and a little bit of small. Every month, we have a big monthly gathering, about roughly 80 students from 17 churches. Then, every week, we do a small gathering of intensive discipleship of 16 leaders from 8 different churches who have applied to be a part of this program for 1 year. And our focus there is to build up leadership development in ways that individual youth groups truly cannot. For example, I have 3 student leaders that have applied and attend this weekly discipleship program for my home church, where I'm a part-time youth pastor, Grace Covenant Church in Chicago. And it is the best, because at 20 hours a week, a part-time youth pastor at Grace Covenant Church, I serve 30 students from 7th grade girls to 12th grade boys who have a lot of different needs. And without this collaborative effort, Without it, I don't have the hours or the capacity to hit all of their needs. But because of the collaborative effort, we can, because we're better together. So that's our current collaboration in Chicago. But I challenge you today to reimagine what your collaborative youth ministry model could look like in your community. What could it look like? Could you reimagine what it could look like with bringing student leaders together from various churches to serve your city or your town, and in turn creating a weekly lifestyle of serving as Jesus served? Imagine what it would look like if you brought all the middle school students from all your churches, and instead of you leading them, you had your high school student leaders lead them in games, worship, preaching, small groups. I don't care, but they can lead, and they should be leading. See, I don't believe that is a one model fits all. I really don't, but I have a deep, strong conviction that churches from all contexts should be working together to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth, like we're trying to give a reasonable run at in Chicago. I believe by doing so, when we do this, students would begin to believe in the church with a capital C. If we began working together more, I believe the church would gain some credibility back from the public when we hold our hands together in ministry. And how incredible for our kids to be the first to model this cross-church, cross-denominational community to the adults. How incredible. And from my personal experience, the students would be invested into. With a collaborative effort, they'd be invested into more deeply, and students would be reached with the gospel that otherwise would have fallen through the cracks or would not have been reached. You see, I believe wholeheartedly that collaborative youth ministry is a solution to a present reality and for the many years ahead. And I pray that today and this weekend we reimagine together a collaborative youth ministry model for our communities. Thank you so much. Amen.